Yarnchix Podcast. This is a podcast about knitting and making. I always have a knit reportage and a knit tarot oracle at the end, so that's something quite, different maybe. I have recorded several podcasts already, so I've lost track, but I reckon this is episode 27. So welcome to the Yarnchix Podcast with Mimi. I'm your host and I live in Berlin, Wedding. That is why I'm called Liebwed on Instagram, which is Liebeswedding. It's sort of a mix of writing a love letter to my hood, to where I come from. So I write Dear Wedding, but also Liebeswedding is sort of the Danish version of saying you sort of love what you do. And yeah, you get hooked and put a ring on it. I don't know, this is like a weird way of saying you can find me in all these places. Yarnchix Podcast has a Ravelry group which is a bit dormant. You're always welcome to wake it up and wake me up over there on Ravelry. I have become increasingly overwhelmed with all the different channels that I want to be present in, and Ravelry was definitely one of the places I wanted to have more deeper conversations and knit-alongs and all of that kind of stuff, but it is a bit of a challenge to keep it going. I'm mainly on Instagram. There is also a Yarnchix Podcast Instagram account, which is also dormant because I've locked myself out of that account. I don't know how I've managed to do that. I think it's just technical admin that I need to sort out. Not my favourite kind. Okay, that's all the sort of difficult bit, but the good bit is I have a Patreon page, and my Patreon art page is very busy. I upload one extra podcast per month, which is the Zenist. Some of it is a bit creative, musical, but I've decided to do that extra podcast, the second one that I should be doing per month, under the Zenist here. So they will get an extra sort of creative Zenist video, and they will get a Yarnchix Zenist vlog, which will be your knitting podcast, and the sort of whatever I haven't spoken about right now, I would have, because it's going to be a big jump from lots of works in progress to lots of finished objects, which I'm very excited about. That was the sort of admin bit. You're always welcome to check out my Patreon page. You can just visit. There is no strings attached. You can just have a go, have a look, and you'll find one of my recent videos I've uploaded, so it's public, so you can have a little look of what kind of stuff I produce. I love the support and the conversation we have over there. I feel free in my blogging and my vlogging, and I have lots of ideas how to carry that on and carry it deeper. So for now, I hope you're ready. You've got a drink, like a cup of tea, for example. You have your knitting, and you have some time to sit and knit with me. After that visual intro, I remembered I still have another bit of admin to do, so I'm trying to lead into this podcast with a bit of a preview. So one of the things my patrons get is, or one of the tiers we have, is the subscription for my Yarnchix zine. The latest zine has been finished and I'm super happy with it. It was hard work to get it all done, and I sort of changed a bit of my process and sort of technical support. I've actually decided to get change copy shops. So you sort of change the kind of Xeroxing support you have. You change machines, but you also sort of I suppose, find a new input, and this time I learned crazy amounts, so I'm hoping to digitalize my process. All that to say, it's here, and after Edinburgh, after I've been to the festival, and when I come back I will upload it and it will be available through Etsy, and at the moment it's been sent out to all my Patreon support, all the people who've subscribed, and I have sent it to my contributors, so everyone should have a copy by, I guess, tomorrow, Monday, and I will take it to Edinburgh. It has a fold out pattern, which is a sewing pattern for ice bear, a polar bear, and apart from that it's all printed colour and black and white, and especially the centerfold makes me very happy and cheerful. It's by Katie of the Green Bean Podcast, which I guess everybody should know in the knitting podcast kind of scene. She started around a year ago, I think early on in March, and she's been going and going strong, and I love her work, and I was so happy when she said she was into the whole zine thing, or my zine. She has her own zine, so I was very pleased when she said yes when I approached her about the centerfold, because I love her illustrations and it was a fun collaboration. You'll see when you hold it why it's extra fun. Then there is an interview with Anna Matz all about Penguin, her knitted penguin pattern, and sort of all around that. It's kind of more of a personal insight and behind the scenes also for the process and her way of thinking up this little penguin, and it's almost like a written conversation. Then I managed, and I'm going to show you my favourite page from that, to interview Elke of Tulliver Yarn for my yarn interview this time, and it was amazing and deep and a really truthful, honest conversation. I guess because we're friends, it sort of shows that we can dive a bit deeper, and because we sat in person, that was also exciting. As part of my Etsy release, I will also release our conversation as an audio podcast, so watch the space for more podcasting fun. So I can't believe I'm unfolding the whole audio thing, but I am. I'm getting into it. And another piece is the interview, or it's sort of like a knitter's column, which I've started already last time. This time I spoke to Lee of Quiet Lee from Canada about what knitting means to her. And it's a very thought-provoking text by lovely Lee. The ice bear, the polar bear pattern, is by Anya, who is knitting Sharky on Instagram, so I'm really excited to have this sort of pattern and to sort of move on and not just have knitting patterns but also include some sewing patterns. And Carol obviously drew the amazing chickens, like, oh, I love these two. And this is a recipe I've got, one of my favourite millet porridge recipes. So all in all, I am extra excited about this zine, and it's coming to Edinburgh with me to be shared, as well as the mini Pinga zine, which was the story of the lost and found penguin when I dropped her at the yarn festival, and she went on a bit of an adventure, which was amazing. And this adventure was photographed by Kathleen, who'd found, it's kind of an exciting story and it still makes me choke up. She was Pinga, this is the penguin that I knitted for my daughter, was found by an amazing woman who then took her around Edinburgh on all her sort of sightseeing tours and sent me all these pictures with little sort of text messages attached to them. So with her kind permission, I got to print the little mini Pinga zine, and I will bring that to Edinburgh as well. You will be able to find my zines and potentially also me at Hey Mama Wolf's wool stand. I'm gonna host like a little meet the writer at 2:00 on Thursday and Friday. I think I'll be there around 2:00, and you can meet me and chat to me. I mean, in general, if you see me around Edinburgh Yarn Fest, please remember you potentially have seen me, and I potentially haven't ever seen you in person. So feel free to approach me and introduce yourself, and we'll have a chat. Generally gonna be quite huggy and happy and chatty, so don't be shy. Just let me know. Hey, Mimi, I know you watch your podcast, and you know, I won't be awkward about it. I'll be very happy to see you there. I also produced a second Pinga zine, and this one is a photographic zine about my penguin and me going to Portugal. I'm not sure if I will be able to produce these in vast amounts for Edinburgh. However, I will try. I will try and have this in my sort of zine set, because it's the continuation onwards from Pingazine, Mini Pingazine 1 and Mini Pingazine 2. And yes. So today's podcast is a pre-Edinburgh Yarn Fest excited compilation of finished objects on the needles and planning, festival planning. So if you are not going to Edinburgh and you're like, Mimi, zip it, shut your beak, then maybe you'll be a bit annoyed with this podcast, and I apologize. But I am so excited that I'll be going the 3rd year in a row. Yeah, you can always go back and revisit my knitted reportages and Edinburgh Yarn Fest experiences, because I always film around the marketplace and I edit something which is a bit like taking you along with me through the marketplace and seeing some faces, seeing some wool. So you can go back to my previous episodes if you're nosy, and if this is not for you, then just come back next episode when I'll probably be talking about this festival a little bit more. Or ignore me. Just ignore me. Silly. Objects. First, and already present on this table, my amazing Hermione's Everyday Socks. So this was the 2nd pair of socks this winter, and I started a 3rd, which I will show to you in a minute. I love these. These are for me, and maybe you'll be able to tell. They're slightly loose and loose fitting. And I kind of knitted them quite loose because I thought I'll wear them like these, you know, they're sort of house socks, and I wanted some sort of low shoes to sort of show off this slouchy sock. But I forgot that actually they will stretch even more when they start to be worn, and I should have thought a bit more about negative ease rather than making them fit loosely already from the beginning. So now I've got these slightly oversized pair of socks. It doesn't help that these sock blockers are actually a size too small for my feet, so they look extra big. They're actually not that big on the foot, but for style reasons, I don't really like those shots of like feet dangling in the air kind of sock shot, so I thought I'll just put them on the blocker and show them to you like that. And you'll just have to trust my word that they still fit, but they're sort of loose and slouchy, but my favourite. They keep me happy and my feet warm. Knitted in Ocean by the Sea's Give Me Space, amazing colourway. I don't know if you're entirely able to see this. I'm going to try and film a close-up so you see how this speckly flow goes from purple to green to blue, and it's a tweedy sock base, so it has lighter and darker specks. in a sort of Donegal-y, tweedy way. I absolutely adore that colourway. I'm actually dreaming that some of my sweater fund money, which I was generously given for my birthday, will be sort of sidetracked and put to the side for sweater quantity in this colourway. Hoping that Ocean has the time to dye this. She's been super busy and updating, I think, every week. I'm mega excited to meet her in Edinburgh because she will also be there. I'm not sure if with yarn or I don't know, but I'm excited. She's going to be there and I'm going to meet her. And that's a future sweater. And yes, future podcasting story. But I'm so excited because I have what I would say long-term slow-mo whip finished. The Sawband cardigan is a pattern that was originally published in Making Zine, the American knitting and actually crafting publication, which is published by Carrie Post-Dighogue, I hope, yeah, and others, and I absolutely adored this pattern by Mary Jane Muckleston. And Lopi is just the best. Feels so nice and warm and fluffy. And I've knitted this not to the loose gauge that the original asks, but slightly tighter, on a 5mm instead of a 6, I think. I'm not really getting my facts right, potentially getting my facts all wrong and mixed up. But I did change the needle sizes, so I really had to experiment on the sleeves, and it took me some time to get the sleeves right. I think I knitted the first sleeve 3 times, and they're still slightly short, so I'll have to knit the first sleeve a 4th time, well, just the cuff. I'm gonna actually knit the grey until here, then start the colour work and the ribbing, so because obviously this is the length that I would still need. But I'm wearing it and I'm happy that I'm wearing it and that it's done. So maybe I should show you the back. My friend Uta had a lovely photo shoot of all of us wearing these in her shop, Boylan. It wasn't actually finished during the photo shoot, so I had to sort of, well, none of the button band action had been included. Oh yeah, so because you steek it, then you have this sort of raw edge where you cut, and I added this amazing ribbon that Louise of Woolen Matters, or her yarn company is actually called South Downs Yarn. She gave me this one with a little doggy on it, and that dog looks exactly like my dog. I think that's why she sent me this amazing ribbon. There wasn't enough for the second side, so I bought this sort of green stripe to sort of match it, and the buttons were from Uta's shop. All in all, an amazing knitting project. I'm happy I changed the gauge because I wouldn't have liked to have knitted it that loosely. But it's already an improvement to my tracer sweater that I knitted on a gauge that was too tight, say it that way, which was 3.75, and I have to knit Lopi at least on a 4.5. I've worked out. For me to actually like how the gauge relates, how wearable it is, because the tracer being knitted so tightly, I don't find it easy to wear. Like, you cannot really put a shirt on underneath. It sort of travels up. It misbehaves because it's knit too tight, to be honest. I still love it and I still wear it, especially when it's windy out, because obviously that tight gauge is good for something, which is like, you know, keeping the wind out. But yeah, I'm super excited that I managed to sort of guesstimate how changing the gauge will affect the sizing, and yeah, I did get things wrong, but in the end I managed. Finished object. Another finished object is and I'm really excited for Edinburgh that I have this. This is the incredible full moon wrap by Viola. I was like Viola and the Moon, but it is actually Emily Foden who has the amazing yarn company and an amazing book published to her name, which is Knits About Winter, and Viola Yarns is her brand. She will be in Edinburgh, which is very exciting, and I'm gonna be so happy to show her my Hey Mama Wolf Coburger Fuchs knitted full moon wrap, which I wore already quite a lot. I didn't expect it to be so big. It definitely grew with the blocking. Brioche is a very yarn munching knitting technique, so I did use a lot of yarn. However, I didn't realize that it will also make it sort of expand, and whoa, hey, you know, it's wider by, I think, even 10 centimeters wider than the original pattern. I don't know if that means I've done more knitting, or I don't know. It felt like I was knitting a long time, but it definitely is longer and wider than the pattern says. And I chose a contrast color for the border, for this sort of bubbly border. I chose a blue indigo yarn. It's the Sockenwolle from Hey Mama Wolf yarn, which is a wool rami blend. And I really love how both sparkle and shine. It doesn't show on the camera as well as it does in real life. I think part of me is extra excited to show Emily because I know she was already happy about how it looked on screen, but I think it will be, you know, so lovely to show her in person and to see her again, because it was Pomfest when I last saw her, when Pom Pom turned 5, so that's 2 years ago, a long time ago. So that was my second. Anything else that I need to say about my second finished object? I need to add the tassels. And I just couldn't decide whether the tassels should be the Coburger Fuchs or the blue indigo, and I think I've decided for an indigo speckle yarn again by Hey Mama Wolf Yarns. So I've been going back and forth with my choice. I found it hard to decide, so I think I've finally made my mind up. I'll make them tomorrow, so I'll have them on when I go to Edinburgh. Last but not least in the finished object, but not quite finished object category of my podcast, it's the S shawl, my second S shawl. And in my Patreon little vlog I've already spoken about it. I still haven't managed to cut it. I will, however, cut it and add it in as a little clip here to show and share, because it will be finished by when I go to Edinburgh. As this yarn is Amazing South Downs yarn by Louise, and I absolutely love the colours together. It will be a really small sort of necktie crazy fringed triangular shawl. As you cut the steek, you also unravel these sort of spare bits of knitted stitches and tie lots of knots, therefore you will have a fringe, which is exciting. I should show you. And I was wearing this earlier, that's why it's here. The first version I knitted, so it's this and smaller. You might be able to tell by the stitch gauge that it's quite a lot smaller than the massive version I knitted in blue. this I knitted with finnished, which is an organic German merino, which is from a shepherd's union, and you can only order it online or go to their farm shop. But it's a really affordable organic yarn, and I besotted with it because it makes sweater projects possible, and it makes entire sense to support a shepherd's union, and it's organic, so it's looked after, animals looked after, earth looked after, and the treatment of the animals is definitely muslin free, so you definitely can rely on this being a good product for kids' clothes as well as adults. I mean, for anyone, that's a better quality. In this one, it's South Downs yarn with the plant dyed, both, I think there's a madder, solder dye, and Weißdorn. In German it's called Weißdorn. So, plant dyed by Louise of South Downs yarn. Her South Downs is a British breed, so that mixed, and the dark is, if you see the inside, you see it's much darker, sort of frizzly. It's daughter of a shepherd, Rachel's amazing Hebridean 4-ply, so it's sort of like a lace weight Hebridean yarn. I love it. It was such a lovely sheepy wool to work with. Definitely not the last thing knitted from both these amazing yarns. And the pattern is the S-shawl by Anna Matz from her book Marlisle, A New Direction in Knitting. And I cherish this shawl a lot because I was given the yarn by Louise in person when we met in Brighton exactly a year ago now, or in April last year. So I should better finish this so I can show Louise. She will be having a yarn stall at Edinburgh on the Sunday Make Wool event, and I'm gonna be there cooing over her yarn and going, woo, lovely yarns. And I'm gonna be there to show her my lovely S-shawl. I'm hoping to film and show you the steek. Let's move on to my works in progress. There is several works in progress, but there's only one sock. So as I've cleared my needles of socks when I finished the Hermione's socks, I immediately cast on the Kia sock. And sadly, I haven't got another sock blocker here. Maybe I should, because it does look so much nicer too. I'm gonna do this whilst I talk to you. So I've knitted the Kia sock in Rosa Pommard in this amazing luminous bright pink. But the cuff at the top was the little mini that Ocean sent me when I bought Gimme Space from her Etsy shop. She's so lovely and generous. She always sends along one little mini skein, and so here I've done it. So this top is a lightly pink and blue speckled yarn, and I think it is not a sock yarn. It's very fluffy and soft. So for the heel, I chose another contrast color in the sort of similar tone. I'd say that it's a different grey. But I will do the same color, this, in the toe. When I put it on the sock blocker, it looks actually right. So the main color being Retrosaria Rosa Pommard Mondim. It's her Portuguese no nylon, no poly, 100% sock wool. And I've knitted my husband a pair of socks from this, and I had this pink and I was like, yeah, I'll have that for the Kia. However, it's a very bright colour to knit with, and to be honest, I haven't knit on this in at least 2 weeks now, mainly because of the next project I will show to you and my craziness for that, but also because this colour started to get me a bit, oh, it's luminous. I love the Kia sock pattern. I wish I'd chosen the luminous pink more as the contrasting heel and toe and maybe ribbing. I will potentially make another pair where I'll do that, but I will finish this pair of socks. I mean, it's silly to go this far and then decide against it just because you suddenly realize maybe the color is slightly crazy. It's definitely crazy. And yeah, I will take this. This is going to be my travel project for sort of mindless knitting at the festival, so I'm hoping to at least finish the one sock. I have cast on the second ribbing already, so I could just, you know, keep going whilst I'm at the festival, which I kind of like. I wouldn't want to cast on at the festival. I just want to do stuff that's pretty easygoing. And Dawn's amazing Kia sock pattern is something you can get for free on Ravelry, and she's hosting the Kia Sock Cow, which is really lovely of her. There's some amazing socks, and I feel like I'm not communicating with everyone as much as I could and should, but just go and check it out, as there is a lot of beautiful socks being knitted, and it's a great way where the community is getting together and we're knitting together. I think the idea behind her cow being this is a community knitting project, we'll all, you know, support each other through, it's just brilliant, together and being there. And for me, knitting Dawn's pattern is amazing. I really enjoy knitting it, and I definitely think she can charge for the pattern. However, you can always buy her a coffee, which is what I went and did, because I appreciate people running knit-alongs. I appreciate people designing patterns, so do go and check out her incredible, beautiful designs. I think she has released a hat design since, which is amazing. I really love that as well. So go and support Dawn. Go and look at her stuff. Go and support her. Secretly hoping she also contributed a sock design to upcoming publications. She's definitely working away on a beautiful looking, more lacy, more special sock design, so I'm excited to see that come together. So, Kia socks, my travel project for Edinburgh. I'm very excited to take that along to Scotland. The other project that I've been working on almost, very VIP whip style is my episode 27 swatch story. Swatch story. So this was the swatch for my Jamboree. So I knitted the lace pattern for a sweater design by Francesca Hughes, who published, this was published in the Pom Pom birthday issue, so summer 2017, issue 21, and I immediately fell in love with the Jamboree sweater design, which is an all over, maybe I should flash you the photograph, all over lace, 2/3 sleeves or 3/4 sleeve, kind of loose fitting. You wear it with quite a lot of positive ease, and knitted in John Arbon alpaca 2 to 3 ply, so it's like a lace weight alpaca. And I picked up the Seafoam at Edinburgh Yarn Fest last year, and I picked up a lot of white as well because I wanted to dye the 2 contrasting stripes myself. However, I never managed to get my dye gloves on and dye the red. So the seafoam is actually original John Arban textile seafoam, and the yarn that is used as the main colour in the Jamboree Sweater design. However, I kind of wanted something different for the contrasting stripes. So amazing Elke from Tulba Yarn helped me out, and she dyed this amazingly hued pinky raspberry red, and I used some indigo and some tansy to create this petrol sort of teal colour. I'm very excited that I now can show you I finished the body. I'm currently on the neck, so sadly it's sort of squashed onto needles in a bit of a funny way, so I can't really pop it on. I was rushing, but as you can tell, maybe the daylight is fading away, so I was rushing to knit this in order to be able to show you. Maybe I should just finish a couple of stitches. And I love the colours together. I'm so happy. My idea to have like my own dye pot and to ask for my friend's help with the dye pot, because there was no way I was gonna achieve the right red, because that would have taken a longer time. Still, I can't believe it took me a year to get this onto my needles and hopefully off my needles, ready for the festival. Introducing to you my Edinburgh Yarn Fest 2019 festival sweater. I can't believe this is my EYF sweater, and I'm so almost there. Well, I'm gonna start Sleeve Island today. It's Sunday and the festival starts on Thursday. That's alright, right? It's gonna be okay. So I'm gonna swivel the needles now. That's better. So here, with the last bit of daylight, introducing the Jamboree. And I have not blocked, obviously, and lace will grow, it will grow immensely. I'm going to try and stick my arms in and show you. See, it's going to be quite loose and airy, and I hope I'm going to be successful, because not only do I have to do the sleeves, I've got to knitting these contrasty stripes means I've got a couple of ends to darn in. That'll be me on the plane, I think, because I'm going to block it in at home so I can fix it down nicely with lots of pins and open up that lace and let it breathe and shine. And I'm going to take my travel time for all the ends in this sweater. Honestly, I've been meaning to cast it on twice. Already coming home from the festival, I was very excited and enthusiastic about the dyeing of the yarn and then starting, but it sort of takes some time to get that process going and to be confident enough to get it right on a sweater that you really care for. So that one thing, and then 3,400 other projects sort of started crossing my mind, and it always got pushed to the side but not forgotten. When Frankie hosted her FH Cal, like her Frankie Hughes knit along in winter, that was the sweater I was going to do. Still, I didn't dye the yarn. At one point I thought, I could just knit it in white, it will still be an interesting thing. But my sort of concept of the sweater, hence this colour combination dream I had, wouldn't let me just go for it and do that. So I'm quite happy that I persisted with my idea, and that I'm hoping, I'm hoping to have this at as my festival sweater. It will be, a dream come true. what I'm showing you anymore. But also, I think I'm not gonna have to show much more at the moment. I'm gonna, however, give you a little bit of my festival outlook, because there is a little bit of a yarn budget, and this time, I don't know, you probably might know, you might not know, but I've just turned 40, so I was so happy when all my friends and family showed up to my party and had all said that was a good idea for you to say you want a sweater from Edinburgh and you want to go on this trip and it's an important trip for you, and you know, I made like a yarn egg, and people could just stick a little present contribution in there, because I didn't really want lots of presents. However, there were still some presents, and all of the sort of, you know, amazing celebrations were a present in themselves. To have all my people here, that was very beautiful. Now, it got a bit very generous with my friends and family. I don't only have one sweater quantity. I think it's like enough financial support for 3 sweaters. Or 2 sweaters and 3 shawls or something like that. And I've calculated I will definitely be able to afford 2 sweaters, and I have been starting to choose what I kind of want to do. So my outlook was gonna say, as part of my outlook, I want to say it's only possible because it was my birthday, and for once I have a proper budget. Last year my budget was non-existent and I managed to spend it all and more. And this year I actually have a yarn budget. I do not want to brag about it. I want you to know that it is a birthday budget. Because some of the zine making and Patreon support obviously goes towards travel. I think this time it's managed to cover my accommodations, which I'm really excited about. But still, you know, the flight and the food and all of that is a sort of present of my family, like my husband and me, for me to have that trip for my birthday, and then to have an actual woolly budget is amazing. So I'm very humbled and very excited to talk about what I'm dreaming to knit. So I'm going to try and show, because it's quite dark, I might as well try and add in pictures here of 1 or 2 sweater designs, again by Frankie, who's the designer of the Jamboree Sweater, that I want to look for wool for, which is the raspberry twirl sweater. I love it. It's got these sort of details on the shoulder, and Frankie's quite playful in her use of colour, and it's definitely a sweater that has stuck out. And then the waffle cardigan. It's going to be plant dye, definitely non-superwash, you know, so I guess maybe on Sunday I'm going to find my yarn for that. And the other sweater design is Wolke by Orlan Sush, so a picture of Orlan in her beautiful sweater. Isn't it lovely? And the West Yorkshire spinners that this sort of short sleeved little sweater t-shirt was designed in are always present at Edinburgh Yarn Fest, so I hope they will be there again this year, and I'm very excited to look for the wool there. So I'm going to use the original cream colour, but I want the cuffs and so all the ribbing in a bright red for it to look a bit sort of American football cheerleader, you know, that kind of look. So these are the sweaters, and potentially, because I'm looking for blue sweater, hence the blue egg. Hang on, I'm going to show you. So because I wanted a blue sweater from Edinburgh Yarn Fest, I made a blue yarn egg, which was sort of like a party thing on my, sort of next to my flowers on the birthday table, and people just had a chance to pop in a little bit of money in there. And even my daughter put in €1 towards my blue sweater. And the blue sweater, I think, is going to be the Nurtured sweater by Andrea Maury. That mainly down to my podcasty friend and inspirational force, Knit Lib Susan. She knitted an amazingly blue Nurtured sweater, and it's just so perfect. It's sort of cropped, this textured pattern, the sleeves. It sort of reminds me of the Humboldt sweater, which I keep going on about here. And I keep wearing, and it's one of my favorite sweater shapes. So when she was showing the Nurtured sweater, I think 2 episodes back in her knitting podcast, I was like, I think that is the kind of blue sweater I really want as well. So I'm going to copy your style, Susan. So the money went in here. It is going to be reserved because I'm not sure if I will be able to find the right blue. It's got to be indigo. It's got to be non-superwash. It's got to be, maybe it is, but maybe it'll be Give Me Space by Ocean, whose creative plant dyeing genius I love and support, and just, you know, if that's going to be possible, then I'm going to save the money. I'm not going to spend it at Edinburgh. Keep me accountable. Come back in the next episode to find out whether I stuck to my words and my guns, or whether I bought something entirely different. Because that's what that festival does to you as well. You're going to go, whoops, I fell in love with a skein of yarn. Oh, I'm going to take it home. So there will be those random purchases. There always are. And I'm so thankful that there's space in my yarn budget for those crazy falling in love moments as well. Especially Stephanie, my friend, she said, and she helped me so much with my Hermione's Everyday Sock with the ribbing. She knitted a lot of it, and she's just a generous, lovely person. She said, here is some money, but I want you to buy a really special skein. She knew exactly like that she can tickle me into giving myself permission, and I love that. Enabling friends, I love you. All over. You know, I've mentioned some names, but I know you're all enablers, and I love that about a knitting community. And the light is gone. I mean, it's not actually dark yet, but it's a grey day. I know this egg will take a lot of the light away from me. So that was what I planned to buy. What I plan to do is, on Saturday, the 23rd of March, my knit circle, Liebesweddingstrickt, of my groups, my locals, my knitty friends, those who are in Edinburgh, we will all be in the Regent's Bar, and we are having a little knit gathering from 7 in the evening. Regent's Bar is a pub. It's a sort of gay pride pub, and they're really lovely, and we have got a separate little room all reserved for us. So I'm hoping we'll fill it up and we'll have a really good knittery time. I'm also looking forward to meeting all my friends. So excited. And in this me disappearing in the darkness, I'm going to announce that one of the people that I'm very excited to see again is Lisa. And recently we had to travel to the UK for not so happy reasons, but we were there and I managed to meet Lisa, and my knit reportage this time, should I not have lost all my footage, I'm gonna double check. My knit reportage this time is me and Lisa knitting together, sitting and chatting. And I'm gonna change the light. I'm gonna add some artificial light, and I'm gonna ask my tarot a question. So stick around for the knit reportage and my tarot knit oracle if you want to. And see you very soon, because right after Edinburgh I will record another episode. See you soon, bye! I can't believe it's so dark. I just had to double check something, and sort of with computer light on my face, maybe it's okay. So yes, the knit reportage is on. So the knit reportage this time is me and Lisa having tea. I haven't lost the footage. I had to double check. I suddenly had a sort of scared moment. And my tarot knit oracle is about that scared moment, because I have got a serious issue. I've locked myself out of my phone, so my screen time has gone from 3 hours a day to 0, or at least phone wise. I'm like back on a little old Nokia thing. I haven't got it here, just to be able to communicate with my family. And yeah, I've been zonked. It's the third day without, and it's slightly cold turkey, so I keep having these moments of going, oh my god, that footage was lost as well, because I think once I log in back into this phone, it will be wiped. So I'm gonna ask the Knit Tarot Oracle what to do with that, because I think it's helping me change my perspective, and the sort of shock is also a positive shock, but how to move on. So watch the knit reportage of me and my friend having tea and knitting in Norwich, and the Knit Tarot Oracle about screen time and its reduction. See you next time. Thank you so much.